Today is the first day of our 30-day rice ball challenge. An overwhelming majority of you have been asking for a breakfast rice ball, and so here's what I came up with. I'm gonna scramble an egg for the filling. I added a healthy amount of butter and lightly seasoned the egg with salt and pepper. I wasn't too concerned on cooking the eggs all the way through, and I think you'll understand why in just a second. Filling a rice ball with only one ingredient is kinda lame. A lot of you have mentioned that avocados go well with breakfast foods, and I couldn't agree anymore. I guess you could say that this breakfast leans closer to an American style, and you all know how I feel about freedom, baby. We have eggs, rice, avocado, and you guessed it, bacon. If I tried to fill the center with too much, the rice probably wouldn't stick together all that well. Besides, everything wrapped with bacon is good. Be sure to cook each and every corner. The bacon's crispy, rice is fluffy, eggs and avocado are creamy. This is a solid 7 out of 10. For the second day of the rice ball challenge, we're gonna get a little creative and make a delicious s'mores rice ball. This one took me a while to come up with, and I really don't think it can get better than this. Almost like a Rice Krispies treat, I melted a handful of marshmallows and mixed it with white rice. The rice ball mold has been buttered to prevent sticking. You can't have a s'mores rice ball without the chocolate. I'll add just a little bit to the middle. Not too much because I don't want any to drip out. Okay, please don't get mad at me, but I live in Japan and could not find graham crackers to save my life, so I'm gonna use these generic cookies. I crushed them up into a powder and poured it all on a tray. I'm simply coating the rice ball from corner to corner. It should stick pretty easily. What makes a s'more so delicious is the toasted marshmallow. I'd argue that it's the most important part, so I'm gonna put it in my easy bake oven for a minute and just wow. Take a look at this. I'd give this one an 8.5 out of 10. It's day 3 of our rice ball challenge, and this time I'm gonna make a pan-fried dumpling rice ball, also known as gyoza. They're known for being juicy on the inside yet crispy on the outside. It would have been just plain silly to wrap the rice ball in a dumpling skin. I could have just added rice to the filling of a dumpling, but that wouldn't be a rice ball. So I'm gonna first cook the filling and simply place it inside of some rice. The main ingredients for the filling are meat, cabbage, and garlic chives. I don't want the filling of the rice ball to be too big, so I shaped it using a smaller rice ball shaper. A dumpling is only as good as its dipping sauce. Instead of dipping the rice ball in some sauce, I decided to simply season the rice. Some of that goes in the rice ball shaper, then the gyoza filling, and of course some more rice goes on top. Both sides are looking pretty golden brown. Usually gyoza in Japan have wings, which gives it a crispier texture. I thought it wasn't necessary, but the rice ball alone was a 7.5 out of 10. We're moving on to the 4th day of the rice ball challenge, and this time I'm making a carbonara rice ball. If this offends anyone, then I am so sorry that I don't care. Minus the pasta, I'm using everything you would typically find in carbonara like eggs, black pepper, cheese, and bacon. So far, this one has been the trickiest to make. I didn't want to simply add the raw egg mixture to the rice, so I placed the bowl in another bowl of super hot water and stirred until it was nice and creamy. The bacon joins the party, and now we pour it all over the rice. I'll transfer the rice back into the rice ball mold and then shape it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think this one was perfect. In my opinion, it tastes way better than carbonara, and it's easier to eat. 9 out of 10. Today is day 5 of the rice ball challenge, and I have a feeling you'll like this one. I'm making a fried rice ball. In a pan with a little bit of butter, I scrambled 1 egg. To prevent it from overcooking, I'll set it aside for a bit. Now I'm gonna add some onions and meat. What kind of meat, you ask? I personally think it doesn't matter what you use for fried rice. The problem with day-old rice is that it doesn't stick together, which defeats the whole purpose of a rice ball. That's why I used fresh rice, and honestly, I can't even tell the difference. I added garlic, soy sauce, and the king of flavor. There's nothing healthy about meat and rice. Scallions are green though, so that probably means it's healthy. Now all that's left to do is shape our fried rice ball and dig in. I didn't think we could beat yesterday's rice ball, but this one deserves a 9.1 out of 10. For the 6th day of the rice ball challenge, I'm making one that has been requested by like a billion people, including myself. This is natto, a fermented soybean that's often described as stinky and slimy. It's usually eaten with rice to mask the flavor. And although I'll be doing just that for today's rice ball challenge, I think it tastes great by itself, and oh shoot, I forgot to make a rice ball out of it. Luckily, I always have a second pack on hand. I'll pour the natto all over the rice, and I'm also using kimchi too. The two pair well together, and it honestly looks prettier. I'll add some green onions, sesame oil, and sesame seeds. You really have to mix it well so that each bite has the perfect ratio of natto to rice. As I mentioned before, natto is slimy, so I'll be covering this rice ball with a strip of nori seaweed to keep my hands clean. I'd love to give this rice ball a perfect 10 out of 10, but I'm sure that would upset some of you. So that's why I'll give this a score of 11 out of 10. We're 1 week deep in the rice ball challenge, and for day 7, I'm gonna make an omaraisu rice ball, or should I say omaraisu ball. For those who don't know, the Japanese word omaraisu comes from the two words omelet and rice. There are many different ways to season the rice, but the most common is with tomato sauce, ahem, ketchup. Everyone knows that ketchup goes well with scrambled eggs, so this combination works perfectly. Instead of just dropping the omelet on top of the rice, I'm gonna bring the rice to the omelet. That way we are keeping to the theme of rice balls. I'm tucking in the corners so that it doesn't fall apart. I'll finish it off with more ketchup, and take a look at that. This one is a 7.5 out of 10. For day 8 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making a ramen rice ball. I took the seasoning packet of instant noodles and mixed it with a little bit of water. That way it won't be powdery when poured on top of the rice. Half of the rice will go in the rice ball shaper, and now it's time to add the fillings. What is ramen without a slice of chashu? I cut it so that there's a little in each bite. Bamboo shoots join the party, and now I'll cover it and add a few more special ingredients. This egg has been marinated, and it single-handedly makes ramen good. Now I'll add this swirly fish cake to give it a more authentic vibe. I don't want the seaweed to cover the middle, so I tried to be fancy with it. This rice ball wasn't bad, but it can't compete with real ramen. 6 out of 10. For the 9th day of the rice ball challenge, I'm making a grilled rice ball. I'll start off by seasoning some short grain sticky rice, but not too much or else it won't stick together. You can find the ingredients in the description. I'll transfer it into my rice ball shaper and squeeze so that the rice stays tight even after grilling it. A little sesame oil goes in a pan. Although it's not necessary, it really makes the rice ball a bit more toasty and aromatic. Be sure to cook both sides as well as all 3 of the corners. I'm not gonna run a knife through it so that you can hear the crunchy texture, but trust me, it was close to perfect. I just wish I filled the rice ball with something. 8 out of 10. If you grew up watching Pokemon, then I'm sure you remember when Brock called a rice ball a jelly-filled donut. For day 10 of the rice ball challenge, I'll be making one just for the meme. No, it's not actually jelly-filled. It's supposed to be a sour pickled plum, which I guess kind of looks like jelly filling. From what I understand, most people who watched Pokemon 20-something years ago would not have known what a rice ball is. Instead of changing the animation a bit, they must have said, American people like donuts, so let's give them a donut. Honestly, it's a pretty fair reason. But to go back to the rice ball challenge, this is the most basic rice ball you can find, and for that, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. For day 11 of the rice ball challenge, I'm gonna spice things up by making an apple pie rice ball. I was told to make this one by a few people in the comment section. Although I thought this idea was strange at first, I think it'll actually work really well. I cooked chunks of apple in a pan with a tiny bit of butter, sugar, and cinnamon. I'm just gonna place the rice in this pan so that it'll soak up all of that flavor. Next, it'll go back in my rice ball shaper along with the apple pie filling. I placed it in a pan one last time so that it'll develop a golden brown crust on one side as well as the other. My apartment is starting to smell like fall. Just listen to that sucker. This one deserves an 8.5 out of 10. I was in the mood for some pizza, so for day 12 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making my favorite pizza in the form of a rice ball. I filled roughly half my rice ball shaper and placed it in a pan to cook the bottom. Tomato sauce goes on top, followed by some Italian herbs. So, what is my favorite pizza, you may ask? I'm not gonna trigger all of you haters by saying the name, but let's just say that I'll be using both ham and pineapples. Okay, it's Hawaiian pizza. I'll sprinkle a little more cheese on top and throw it into my easy bake oven. Check out all of that golden brown color. Who would have thought that you could make pizza with rice? 7 out of 10. It's day 13 of the rice ball challenge, and I'm just now getting around to making the one with the most requests, a grilled cheese rice ball. I've been avoiding this one like the plague. I think grilled cheeses are a bit overrated. I like my sandwiches with more meat and veggies, so to take a grilled cheese and make it out of rice doesn't sound all that good to me. But I'm weird, so don't take it personal. With all that yapping out of the way, I have to admit that this looks pretty fire. The rice buns are golden brown, the cheese is nicely melted. Sheesh! It's even got a nice crust. I still don't like it. I don't know how I could have made it better though. Let me know what you think. 4 out of 10. This is butter chicken, and it doesn't need an intro. It smells great, tastes great, and would make a great rice ball. That's right. For day 14 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making a butter chicken rice ball. I'll mix a little bit of the curry with some short grain sticky rice. I know it's not traditional, but any other kind wouldn't stick together very well. What is butter chicken without the chicken? A little bit goes in each corner, and now I'll shape it with my hands. The goal isn't to squeeze it like your life depends on it. Gently shaping it will get you the best result. The only thing that could make this better is a nice texture. I'm gonna lightly pan fry it on both sides. This is not only my new favorite way to eat butter chicken, but it's also my new favorite rice ball so far. 9.5 out of 10. I asked you all what kind of rice ball I should make next, and I was told to do nothing. Your wish is my command. I'll pour a whole lot of nothing into a pot and thoroughly wash it. Once the water is crystal clear, I'll place it in a rice cooker. Normally it takes an hour to cook rice, but this time it took approximately 0 seconds. I'll fill the rice ball mold about halfway with absolutely nothing. Speaking of which, I decided to use a whole lot of nothing as the filling. Some more nothing goes on top, and now it's time we shape our big ball of nothingness. The key is to not squeeze it too tightly. It should look something like this. The taste of this rice ball is a 0 out of 10, but the creativity is a 10 out of 10. I'll give it an average of 5 out of 10. For day 16 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making a BLT rice ball. I've made one of these in the past, but what's cool about a BLT rice ball is that there are so many ways to go about making one. I placed a triangle of tomato in the center of the rice ball, along with some ketchup and Kewpie mayo. Whoever came up with this wombo combo of a sauce is a genius. I'm wrapping this rice ball with bacon for a few reasons. The fat will give the rice a crispy texture, there will be be a consistent bite of bacon, and it honestly looks cool. After cooking each and every corner, I'm gonna wrap it in lettuce. This way I can keep my hands from getting greasy. Absolutely delicious. This rice ball deserves a 9.6 out of 10. Here in Japan, I can't help but appreciate how many more toppings they give you with your cup noodles. You get shrimp, eggs, and mystery meat. I can't complain. As I'm sure most of you know, I'm doing a rice ball challenge. Some of you have been asking for an instant noodle rice ball, so for day 17, that's exactly what I'll make. I'm gonna mix the dry noodles with both rice and water. The water helps hydrate the noodles, and the rice helps stick everything together. Otherwise, it would fall apart, and it wouldn't be a rice ball. After shaping it in the rice ball mold, you can see that it was a success. At least it looks like a success. How does it taste? I'd say it's a solid 7 out of 10. I'm an American who bleeds red, white, and blue. The only thing I like as much as freedom is a juicy burger. For day 18 of the rice ball challenge, I'm gonna take everything I like about a cheeseburger and turn it into a rice ball. Why would you do that, you ask? Because I'm free to do whatever I want. Oh, and about 1 billion people have asked for this one. I'll admit, it feels wrong to call this a rice ball. It's basically just a rice burger, but a lot smaller. To be fair, most rice balls are triangular, so who cares about the specifics if it's good? I couldn't tell if this was super tasty or I just haven't had a good burger in a while, but I enjoyed this one a lot. 8 out of 10. I was minding my own business trying to enjoy a PB&J sandwich. I opened the YouTube app and saw that everyone was asking for a PB&J rice ball for day 19. For some odd reason, you all think I can replace anything with rice and it'll be good. No, it won't, but I'm all for trying one. Do I think it's weird? Yes. But have I made one in the past? Also yes. I have a good feeling about it this time. After spreading a generous amount of PB&J, I'll gently cover the top with more rice and then place it in a pan with a ton of butter. You have to admit that the color on this thing is just beautiful. The taste was fine, but the original version is obviously much better. 6.5 out of 10. Some people think of rice as a side dish for breakfast, lunch, or maybe dinner. If only you knew how well it works with desserts. Think of Rice Krispie treats, Crunch bars, or wait a second, Crunch bars suck. Oh no, I'm losing you all right now. I mixed white chocolate with heavy cream and crushed up an Oreo to make a cookies and cream rice ball for day 20. If you melt chocolate and refrigerate it, it'll solidify again. This is the best method for getting a rice ball that's consistent all the way through. I placed an Oreo on top because it looks cute and then threw it in the refrigerator for about an hour. It should look something like this. If you don't think this rice ball looks good, then I don't know what to tell you. 8 out of 10. For day 21 of the rice ball challenge, we have a crunchy roll rice ball, or I guess you could call it a crunchy rice ball. Obviously, we need a lot of crunch. That's why I'm using tempura bits. Just like a sushi roll, most ingredients will go on the inside. From what I understand, a crunchy roll is similar to a California roll. That's why I'm using avocado, cucumber, and imitation crab. People always ask me what imitation crab is, and I just tell them that it's basically the hot dog of the sea. What exactly is it made out of? I don't think anyone really knows. After shaping our crunchy rice ball, I'll wrap it with a sheet of nori. This one took me by surprise. It's my favorite so far, 9.7 out of 10. It's day 22 of the rice ball challenge. I know I say this every day, but today's rice ball is one of the top requests, an inside out rice ball. Yeah, you guys are wild. The strip of nori goes in the middle, then it's covered by rice, and then the filling goes on the outside. Remember, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. When the filling goes on the outside, it'll get your hands dirty. When the nori goes in the middle, it'll get soggy, which defeats the purpose in my opinion. But if I were to say one good thing about this, it's that you can get away with adding more filling. Usually when people overstuff their rice ball, it falls apart. Maybe instead it would be a better idea to simply mix whatever in the rice instead of placing it on the outside. 5 out of 10. This is tapioca milk tea. It's one of the most popular drinks in the world. Heck, it's probably more popular than water. I'm not a fan of the drink, but I think it has potential. For day 23 of the rice ball challenge, I think you know where this one is going. I'm gonna strain the bobers and then place the liquid in a pan. If you want it sweet, I recommend adding a little sugar. Once it starts to reduce, one serving of rice will join the party. I guess you could think of this one as a dessert rice ball. I was surprised by how much tapioca the rice absorbed. The bobers go on top, and then back into the rice ball mold it all goes. It kinda looks like cookie dough. Needless to say, the taste is much different. This rice ball tasted so bad that I don't even feel comfortable giving it a score. For day 24 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making a tempura shrimp rice ball. First, I devein the shrimp so that it doesn't taste like doo-doo, and then I place it in the tempura batter. While it's being deep fried, I'm gonna prep the sauce. It's a mixture of mensuyu, soy sauce, water, sugar, and potato starch. I threw it in the microwave, which made the sauce thick with 2 C's. I hit the shrimp with a little salt, and now I'm gonna place it in the middle of the rice. Coat it with that sauce, and then cover it with some more rice. Squeeze it, but not too tight. You already know that I need some nori for this sucker. I had some leftover rice, so I coated the top as well. Yum. This rice ball is an 8 out of 10. For day 25 of the rice ball challenge, I wanted to focus less on the type of rice ball and more on a trick that might come in handy the next time you're on the go. I know, this rice ball is kinda boring. You can place some nori in the middle of a sheet of foil and fold it just like this to make a wrap for your rice ball. Tape the back from top to bottom, then flip it over. By placing the rice in the middle and folding the foil from top to bottom, you'll have the perfect rice ball for lunch. This method keeps the nori from touching the rice, preventing it from getting soggy. My favorite part is opening it. Just follow the steps I showed you, and now you have a delicious rice ball ready for when you're on the go. For day 26 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making the simplest, easy, yet tastiest rice ball so far. All of the ingredients will be added to the rice cooker, and it's probably stuff you already have in your kitchen. After washing my short grain sticky rice, I added chicken stock and placed half of a tomato in the center. You'll want to season it with salt, pepper, and maybe a little olive oil. Once it's done, it should look something like this. I'm mixing it to ensure that every bite is as good as the last. To be honest, you don't really need to make a rice ball out of this. It would taste great just in a bowl, maybe paired with your favorite protein. But since this is a rice ball challenge, here we go. 8.5 out of 10. For day 27 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making a parent and child rice ball. If you don't understand the name, then allow me to explain. This is chicken ramen. The noodles are fried in a chicken flavored oil so that you don't have to season them when it's time to eat. But never mind that, I'm using the chicken broth with some cornstarch to give our rice ball a little flavor. I poured in an egg, almost like egg drop soup, and then poured our mixture over one serving of rice. About the name of this rice ball. The parent is the chicken that I placed in the middle of the rice ball, and the child is the egg that was in the mixture. It's kind of a sad name if you think about it. The taste of this rice ball was a 7.62 out of 10. For day 28 of the rice ball challenge, I'm making a vegan rice ball. And there goes 99% of my viewers. But I need to show you vegan some love too. While the rice cooker works its magic, I'm gonna prep the shiso leaves and edamame. The shiso simply gets cut into strips while the edamame gets removed from its coat. I added dried kelp to the rice, which gives it a subtle umami flavor, so you're not just eating plain white rice. One ingredient goes in at a time so that it mixes nicely. I also added sesame seeds, sesame oil, and salt. As someone who is strictly not vegan, I have to admit that this rice ball just works. It's colorful, tasty, aromatic, and will satisfy your hunger. I don't think this rice ball needs to be wrapped in nori seaweed, but it definitely doesn't sound all that bad. 8 out of 10. For day 29 of the rice ball challenge, I'm gonna attempt and quite honestly fail to make a spam rice ball. I was feeling pretty good about this one prior to recording. It can't be that hard to throw some mystery meat over rice with an egg, right? After cooking the spam on both sides, I poured over a homemade sweet soy sauce mixture and then set it aside while I cooked an egg. It wasn't until this point that I realized something important. How am I gonna place a rectangular piece of spam and egg inside of a rice ball? With scissors, baby. I'll cover the top with more rice and then squeeze that rice ball together. So I guess you can't really call this a fail. It was just a lot more underwhelming than I had imagined. But hey, you'll never know unless you try. 4 out of 10. For the last day of our rice ball challenge, I could have went all out by making something fancy, but when has anything on this channel ever been fancy? As you can see, I made my own furikake mixture and poured it over some rice. It's salty, crunchy, aromatic, and every other adjective with the exception of stinky and slimy. But no need to worry because the stink and slime is on its way. You didn't think I would skip out on natto for the final video, did you? We need a 30-day natto challenge. After the beans are thoroughly mixed in, I'm gonna scoop some into my rice ball shaper, and this rice ball is so sticky that I need some nori to keep my hands from getting messy. Have you ever seen a more perfect rice ball? This challenge has been super fun, and I'll have to post a recap video soon. 9.5 out of 10.